Hello everybody, I'm Raphael Perry, and it's time for some more Bloodsword, Book 1. The Battlepits of Krarth, of course. Now, when last we were playing, our group of heroes had been stripped of their weapons by a cruel and sadistic patron, and are set to descend into the Battlepits of Krarth unarmed. Now, before I continue, I'd like to point out, hey, I haven't played this game book in about 11 years, and I've only played it once before, so I ain't got the whole thing memorised or anything, And from what I can remember, there wasn't very much of a coherent theme. Essentially, the battle pits feel rather like a disjointed series of set-piece encounters connected via teleportation, essentially. I mean, there might be like long tunnels, but you might as well teleport from one to another, because it's like once you're in one, you're there. You're in the situation, you deal with it. A bit like the Crystal Maze, actually. Yeah, now there's an old game show. That's a good comparison, actually. Yeah, very like the Crystal Maze, actually. Except without Richard O'Brien, obviously. Yeah. And then the second book had more of a overall theme of sort of Eastern European mythology, and then the third obviously went to an Arabian area. Yes, I'm recording this at 17 minutes past 3 in the morning. But hey ho, our heroes are alive and allegedly well. I'm not feeling too confident in their abilities to face the dangers of the battle pits unarmed. Hopefully they will be able to pick up weapons. Now, yes, Ariadne does have white fire prepared. So, in theory, Marius the warrior and Remy the trickster can get in the way of enemies and hold them up, defending, and she can blast them with fire, and then Brother Janus can heal them up after combat. Let's sort out our party marching order. Is this what I want? Maybe. Maybe. We want the warrior in front, because that's the position most likely to be in trouble. We might want Remy the trickster at the back, where he could... We don't want Ariadne at the back. Alright. Yeah, let's go like that then. I mean, yeah... Cleric, fighter, magic user, thief. It's a pretty standard lineup. Also, we don't need Quell the Enchanter anymore, at all. We can totally get rid of him. Gone. Also, we're not going to need this marketplace anymore either, but hey, if we run into need of a battle map, I'll have to, quickly make up another one. In the meantime, let's hope we're able to rearm ourselves. I believe there are a few weapons we can pick up down in the battle pits, but we have had some very unfortunate events in the previous episode. So, according to my notes and PDF, we're on section 136, so here we go. You descend into the torchlit gloom. The sound of dripping water reaches your ears, and soon you are standing in a damp stairwell with a single bricked archway in front of you, and a tunnel leading off behind it. You follow the tunnel for a few steps, then find another tunnel leading off to the right. As you peer down it, you fancy you can make out a motionless figure standing in the gloom. Ahead, you can see that the passage ends in a large ornamental doorway. The figure down the right-hand corridor could be a mirror with our reflection. It could also be a dummy. The fact that it's standing motionless indicates this is some kind of ambush or trap. However, if we carry on straight ahead to the door up ahead. We'll probably pass through it and won't be able to come back to this door. I mean, to this side passage. Whereas if we go down the side passage, it may be a dead end. We may be able to come back this way, go through the main door. There are other groups down here. A single motionless figure is not a group. The fact that it's not moving at all is generally bad news. We don't have our weapons. Oh, do I want to go anyway? My gut feeling says no. Let's carry on up the corridor to the ornamental doorway. And if I'm missing out on something really amazing and great, that's a shame. But at least we won't get killed in some kind of horrible ambush. 246. You step through the ornamental door into a vast cavern whose walls sparkle with veins of quartz. Rock-cut steps lead down. At the bottom of the steps, a slab of grey rock with a sculpted frieze running around it forms a low dais. Yes, dais and dais, they're both technically correct pronunciations. I tend to go with what feels most suitable to the surrounding words in the sentence. Looking beyond this, you can see 4 sarcophagi carved on a monumental scale. That's not good, there's 4 of us. Further on, you can dimly make out a pebble beach washed by the dark waters of an underground lake. Cautiously, you make your way down the steps. There have been 2 opportunities earlier where we didn't want to use the sage twice. It didn't feel right, but this time, we'll let the sage use ESP. Maybe the enchanters will get to use detect spells as well, but ESP can detect things that aren't spells, so we're going to go with that. So this is of course Brother Janus, the sage. You scan the chamber for the thoughts of hostile beings. You sense none, but you cannot tell whether this is because there are no hostile beings within range of your psionic power, or merely because you did not activate your ESP properly. Return to 246 and make another choice. Which means that Ariadne will get to cast detect spells. You call the spell to mind and then cast it. There is no need to roll for this because you are not in a combat situation and do not need to hurry the enchantment. You are able to see any spells fluorescing with a bright aura under this spell. You see no sign of magic from the sarcophagi, though this does not necessarily mean they don't contain something magical. The dais of grey stone, however, flickers with powerful sorcery. As to whether that sorcery is benign or hostile, you cannot tell. We're going back to 246 yet again. Let's examine the sarcophagi. That stone beach is making me think this may be the chamber of the giants. I hope it's not. The sarcophagi are indeed built on a grand scale. You are not able to fully appreciate the size until you approach one close up. It is more than 4 meters long, big enough to hold the body of an ogre or a frost giant. The carvings on the lids depict 4 old men in regal attire, ancestors of the loathsome Magus Callaghan. There is little to suggest a family resemblance in the wise faces of these long-dead monarchs. We can pass on towards the beach, open our sarcophagus. I think Remy wants to pry. we have no indication of, of any differences between these four, so he will open the first one. Some of these may contain enemies. 351. Come on. Come on. Nearly there. Nearly there. With much effort you slide the lid back. Inside you find a pile of mouldering bones swathed in tissue-fine linen. Exposure to the air after so many centuries has a startling effect on these remains. In front of your eyes they crumble away into a fine sear ash, which is soon scattered on a faint breeze that wafts through the cavern. Well, that's somewhat disappointing. Let's open the second sarcophagus. 186. You pull at a brass handle that is set into the side of one of the walls. The whole wall... 186? Oh, no, that's actually correct. Okay. Yeah. The whole wall suddenly crashes down toward you in a cloud of dust. The person who pulled the handle must roll equal to or under their awareness on 2 dice, or suffer 4 endurance points damage from falling masonry. Well, this would obviously be Remy, and his awareness isn't 8. So we have our first dice roll of the session. Okay, that's bad. This could actually kill him now. 7 points of damage. That's okay. We can take 7 points of damage, reducing him to 5 endurance, which means Brother Janus will spend 1 point of endurance on healing, which he loses. He'll do it again. He gets 4 points back, so he gives 2 points to 1 point to himself and 3 points to Remy, leaving him on 9 and Remy on 8. Behind the gaping hole left in the wall you see, if you are still alive, a number of ancient pots. On closer inspection, each of these contains a fragment of a skeleton, but nothing else of interest. Well, in that case, since we have plenty of time, we'll have Brother Janus attempt to heal once more for 1 point. Gets it back, gives it to himself. Healing for 1 point again. Gets 3 points back, gives it to himself. Gives 2 points to Remy, taking Remy up to a 10. Then he'll attempt again 1 point, which he loses 1 point. 6, so he gets 2 back for himself, putting him on 9, and 2 back for Remy, leaving him on 12. At which point he will attempt 1 more point healing for himself, gets 2 points back, puts him back on 10 as well. It's very helpful having the sage around to heal our heroes, because otherwise they could suffer some really horrific accidents. But Remy isn't finished. He's going to jammy open that third 403, that third giant sarcophagus, with a number ending in a 3. How nice. You haul the lid off... not off. You haul the lid of the sarcophagus aside. The body within long ago returned to ash. All you find is a grey pearl, which you can take if you wish. Remy likes the grey pearl. He's a thief. Why should he not take a grey pearl? He's going to take a grey pearl, okay? It may come in useful further down the line, and if not, hey, he got a grey pearl. But he's going to open the 4th sarcophagus as well, because there might be something useful in there. So far they haven't been too fruitful, but he remains optimistic. You wrench the huge stone lid of the sarcophagus aside. A slight breeze across the cavern stirs the old bones and mouldering grave clothes, swiftly reducing them to ash. A small item gleams dully amid the decayed remnants of the mummy. It is a bronze key. Oh, he's taking that. That is one of the most... It's probably the most useful item we've found in this chamber, to be honest. Bronze key. There we go. We've finished exploring all 4 sarcophagi. So we get to go to the beach. So we don't get to step on the platform yet. That's interesting. As you step on the smooth pebbles marking the shore of the lake, ripples spread across its glistening surface, and a gondola wrapped in dark blue drapes slides into view across the water. As it draws nearer, a gondolier becomes visible at the back of the boat. Somehow you fail to notice him at first. He works his oar with thin but apparently tireless arms. He brings the gondola to a halt in front of you. Ripples lap the shore, producing an eerie, echoing shush-shush, like a great creature breathing deeply in its sleep. You watch the gondolier. His scrawny frame is wrapped in odd folds of cloth. His face is hidden by one of the despondent theatrical masks used in ancient Amphibian tragedies. He waits in silence. We have a sage, we have an enchanter who could try and cast servile enfraudment. We have a sage, 474. Brother Janus, he's not just a healer, he gets to contribute in other ways as well. This strange gondolier is the one whom the peasants of Krarth call Stug the Careworn. A minor spirit of folklore now, but once the dark ferryman Charon of Amphibian mythology, or Chiron of Greek mythology. You address him in the ancient Amphibian language, saying, "Most revered Charon, you who alone ride the ebb and flow of the 2 worlds, who alone remain untouched by the parting of life and death, I charge you by the 5th and the 3 paradoxes of Kerabos to provide passage to the far bank of this river." Charon cannot refuse your demand, phrased as it is in the arcane formulae prescribed in the ancient texts. He indicates for you to step into his boat, then sculls out across the dark lake. And away we go. It is possible that standing on the dais may have been harmful to our health, although it may have also conveyed a useful message. The Silent Ferryman conveys you across the water in his boat. Above, the roof of the cavern sweeps up to vast heights where stalactites hang like the chandeliers of a great cathedral. You still cannot make out the limits of the lake, though you peer ahead into the gloom. The boat passes close to a buoy that bobs up and down, its wood chewed away by countless tides, and its iron fretwork deeply rusted. If you wish the ferryman to stop beside the buoy, we can pass about... No, we will have a look at the buoy. Yeah, for the record, Americans pronounce this buoy. I don't know why. As a child, as an Englishman, I've been taught it's pronounced boy, because it is a buoyant device that, floats upon the water. But hey. And there's the sword we weren't able to get. Oh, how unfortunate. Oh, we could have got that from a mansion as well. That is so unfair. Oh, wait. Am I... So, Balazar's body... I shouldn't be looking at this because it's a different section. So, I'm thinking going to the mansion to identify him, then assassins leap out and kill him, and one of them has the sword, which we can then get. That would make sense, right? So then we have to go to someone else. I think that's it. Anyway, and of course the assassins were able to find him because we found him and pointed him out of the crowd of masked people. That doesn't mean he knew the assassins were coming, but maybe he did. I don't know. Anyway, I'll find out on another playthrough at some point. Yes, so let's stop and look at this boy floating in the water. You can just about make out 3 lines of a rhyme carved into the weathered wood of the boy. They read, "As you are now, so once was I. Where I am now, so you must go. Haul me up from where I lie." There is a heavy iron chain attached to a link on the side of the boy. It trails down deep into the lake. The gondolier seems disinclined to tarry here. You see his lean fingers twitching as he grips. We can tell him to row on. We would haul up the chain. We have an enchantress who can use a prediction spell, and we have a sage who can use his paranormal sight to see through things like water. I mean, this is clearly redolent of the river Styx, so we don't want to go into the water or we'll lose all our memories. I think we'll let the sage look through the water and see what he can see. There could be a nasty... I don't like the "where I am now, you must go" part. You must attempt to awaken the latent powers of your inner eye. Calling on the teachings of your adept masters, you begin to clear... That's not a D, it's just scanned badly. You begin to clear your mind of all distractions, trying to see beyond the natural spectrum. To represent this attempt, choose one of these options. One indicates failure, and the other perhaps indicates success. Turn to either 313 or 263. I'm going to go 263. There's literally no knowing between them. However, we don't know what failure will give. Success! Now you can see the rhyme in its entirety. As you are now, so once was I. Where I am now, so must you go. Haul me up from where I lie and join me in the depths below. That indicates it's some kind of trap. Especially as that final line is floating below the waterline. I'm going to indicate to the ferryman, who is also eager to move on, that we do not wish to tarry here any longer. And he will row us on to section 247. The boat glides past a low side tunnel. Far ahead you can see the winking lantern lights of a jetty. The gondolier sculls to a halt and waits for you to indicate which route you want to take. We could go left along the side tunnel or right and towards the jetty. I'd like to go left along the side tunnel in hope that we can come back for the jetty at some point. We may not be able to do so. 30, 89... Oh, look! This is going to be fun, isn't it? I've got another map to make. Oh, joy. The tunnel rises and the water quickly becomes too shallow for the gondola. You can now see the shingle of the lake bed. The gondolier lays down his oar and with an imperious gesture flings his cloak around his shoulders. As he does so, both he and the boat vanish and you find yourself standing waist deep in cold water. You have no option but to wade up the tunnel. Soon you see it opening out into a cavern, and you begin to wade faster as you glimpse dry land inside it. Just as you reach the shore, though, you sense movement above you. Giant spiders are dropping out of their webs by the cavern entrance on top of you. Every player in the party is attacked by one spider. The spiders are not shown on the map because they are dangling directly above the player they are attacking. You can't flee because you are temporarily entangled in their webs. If you kill them, you may investigate the cavern mouth. Okay, so we have a 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to have to stop recording here and go make a quick battle map. It will be very quick and probably not very good, but hey, it'll do. See you guys soon. And we're back. A battle map has been hastily assembled, and well, the walls are the right shape. We can ignore these side areas. This is a good approximation of the map we've been given here. I've checked the squares are about correct. It goes 3 up there, this is 2 wide, goes 2 out this way from the heroes and 3 out that way from the heroes. And we have our 4 spiders, which, while they are hanging in the space above the heroes, I've decided to offset around them for the sake of convenience. Also, just checking the recording again. Good. Now, our 4 heroes are without weapons. That is to say, their swords, their bows, and even the sage's staff have been taken from them. So this is going to be tough. That being said, the spiders aren't too deadly. They only have a fighting prowess of 5. And if we look at the initiative window, Remy will get to go first, followed by all the spiders and all the rest of our heroes. The spiders aren't going to get too many hits in, but when they do, it's really going to hurt. If anyone gets bit by a spider, we're going to need to protect that person and do what we can to help them. Also, I don't believe we can attack diagonally. That's something I should probably check. We don't need to attack diagonally, they're above us. Right. Since we can't flee, Remy will attack his spider. He has a reduced fighting prowess of 5. So actually, we're about as deadly as they are. With a 6, he fails to land a blow, but he's going to try again using his special ability to go twice, once per encounter. Both are failures. At which point, all the spiders are going to go. The spider above Remy will attempt to get him with its nasty bite. The spider above Brother Janus will attack. Wow, poor Brother Janus. 1d6 plus 1. 5. He does still have 2 points of armour, so 3 points of damage get through, leaving him on 7 endurance. He can take one more hit before he's on death's door, as it were. And the monsters haven't finished yet. We have a spider over Marius, the warrior, which will also try and sink its fangs into his flesh, and likewise the spider over Ariadne. So they're needing to roll 5s or lowers to hit. They've only had 1 successful hit. And now the heroes get their turn. I'll just skip down to there. I think Ariadne will attempt to cast White Fire first, and I think she'll attempt to cast it on the one attacking Brother Janus because he's already been wounded. Her psychic ability of 8 has been reduced to 7 because she has the White Fire spell prepared. The White Fire spell is a level 1 complexity spell, so we're needing to roll a 6 or less on 2 dice to successfully cast the spell. She has failed. It will go to a 7 next turn. Brother Janus will attempt to strike at the spider, needing a 5. And Marius will try and wallop this one, needing a 6. Oh! all the high numbers at all the wrong times. Well, that's rather unfortunate. So we go on to the next round, where it's going to be Remy's turn. Because these are simultaneous, I can basically do their actions in any order I want at the moment. Remy will attack to, well, try and deal with this spider, basically. Try and drag it down off the ceiling, bash it on the floor. Yes! He does strike the spider. 1d6 minus 2 damage. If only we had a weapon. Hey, it's 2 points! 2 points, 2 points. Knocks that spider down to 4 remaining endurance points. Actually, we could die to all these spiders now. The spider will attempt to harm Remy in retaliation. It needs 5s to hit, so that's okay. This spider will attack Ariadne, remembering that they are rolling simultaneously. A 9 will miss, as they need 5s. This one will attack Brother Janus, who is already wounded, and it will fail to harm him, and then this one will attempt to... Oh, that's bad. No. That's a mistake. Right, this one will attempt to hurt Marius, and fail to do so. So I'm going to put her on top as she's attempting to cast. Ariadne will once again attempt to cast White Fire on the spider that is menacing Brother Janus. This time she needs a 7 or less, which she fails. She can't go above a 7, unfortunately. Marius will attempt to slaughter the spider that is threatening him. And Brother Janus will attempt to rid this spider of its miserable life. Unfortunately, all have failed to do so. I'm going quick again, aren't I? I'm going quick. Sorry, I apologise. We're on to round 3 already, but I'm also aware that it's nearly 4 in the morning. So, Remy will once again attempt to hurt a spider. But to no avail. The spider, Spider 1, will counterattack. Fortunately, these spiders aren't too dangerous. That's okay. We have no weapons. We're in a fragile situation. You know, having spiders that are less threatening is good. This spider will attempt to hurt Ariadne. We are very lucky, and this one will go for Brother Janus. And this one will attempt to harm Marius. So as you see, I've put a nice little mouse over portrait on the spiders, but I am aware that some people who watch videos on YouTube are scared of spiders. Look, I didn't write the adventure. I could have put like a picture of a cartoony spider with a great big smiley face, and I thought actually I'd like something that looks kind of nasty and scary, but something that looks like it could do these heroes some serious damage. Ariadne will once again attempt to assist Brother Janus with the casting of the White Fire at his spider. And she fluffs it completely. She's panicked, there's a spider in her face, she can't concentrate, it's very tricky. Marius will attempt to whack the spider over Brother Janus, actually. And Brother Janus will also attempt to alleviate himself of this arachnid threat with violence, but oh god, the bad rolls. Okay, Remy, you know what to do. There's a spider, it needs hurting, it needs stamping on, it needs killing. Remy hits the spider! Get ready for no damage time. D6 minus 2. 2 points again. Hey, he's consistent, if nothing else. Another blow like that would end this spider's horrible existence. However, it's not all over yet. There's still 4 spiders, and this spider will try to harm Ariadne, because it's a nasty, horrible monster, and that's its job. Fortunately, she's cowering with like her arms over her head, and it's hanging down. It's not hanging low enough on its thread yet. It can't reach her. We go to this spider attacking Remy. Oh, that is so close. And Remy has his rogue's ability, I believe, which makes people need an extra point, harder to hurt him. we have a dangerous spider threatening Brother Janus. Uh-oh. The dangerous spider did more than threaten Brother Janus. It hurt Brother Janus. 6 points. Well, he takes 2 on the armor. That's 4 points. Bringing him down to 3 endurance. Now, we're in trouble. And the final spider will, of course, attack Marius. Failing to get the all-important 5 that it needed. Now, Ariadne will attempt to hurl the white fire at the spider that has harmed Brother Janus so severely. And she succeeds! I believe white fire is 2d6 plus 2 points of damage! The spider takes 12 points of damage out of its 6 endurance and is burnt to a crisp. We can just get rid of it right there. We'll remove the white fire and we will restore her psychic ability back to 8. Although she's likely to be wanting to cast the area of effect spell that just hits all the spiders, probably. Well, Marius will attempt to whop the spider over him. He's a trained knight, after all. And he does! He batters it most... so d6 plus 1 minus 2 is minus 1. Okay, 1d6 minus 1. It's 1 point, okay? It's a point. It's better than nothing. And Brother Marius will be glad to be alive, but he will also try and hit the spider over Ariadne, because she did just save his life. Sadly, he doesn't manage to hurt it, but it feels as if the fight is beginning to turn in our favour. Most importantly, Brother Janus has more than 1 point of endurance, so he can hopefully try and heal us up after this. We shall see. Remy will... yeah, he'll hit the spider on him. And he does. He's pretty good at this. He's nifty, he's agile, he's thwacking at it, he's stamping, he's slapping as it's jittering about on its skiddery, jittery legs. That was the wrong dice roll completely, sorry. 1d6 minus 2 for damage is 3 points of damage. That is a dead spider. That's really good news. We can take it away. Right. The spider over Ariadne will attempt to harm her with its horrible mandibles, but to no avail, whereas the one attacking Marius will attempt to do the same. Now, for those of you wondering why I don't type the dice out every time, in the chat box here I can use the cursor keys, the up and down cursor keys, to cycle through the last 4 messages I've put in, so that's why I'm able to repeat dice rolls so quickly when I need to. Ariadne will call the volcano spray to mind. Yes. So her psychic ability goes down to a 7, and volcano spray. Now, it's also worth noting that yes, this is all rather complicated for one person to keep track of. Traditionally, we would have a group of 4 players, and each would only have 1 character. So if I was playing Brother Marius, I'd need to know how to hit things, how to fight, fairly simple stuff, right? If I was playing Brother Janus, I'd need to know how his healing ability works and how his other special abilities work. If I was playing Remy, I'd need to know how to shoot things, I'd need to know how his defensive ability works, I'd need to know how his ability to attack twice a turn works. But I wouldn't need to know how the sage does his healing, how the enchantress casts her spells. I wouldn't need to know any of that. I don't need to know the stuff for my one character. So with multiple players, it's a lot easier to get to grips with. With one player, here using the solo team option, I'm obviously having to work a bit harder. So, Ariadne has taken her turn preparing a spell. Marius will attempt to murder a spider. Oh, this is certainly reassuring. 1d6 minus 1. 2 whole points of damage. Hey, he's whittling it down, okay? And Brother Janus will attempt to strike the spider over Ariadne, which is going to get a lot of attention in all honesty. Remy can hit hers. Janus can strike either, so position 2 is quite a good one for this fight, although he did take a lot of damage. So, 8 isn't going to hit it, I'm afraid. We're back up to the top of round 6. Remy will attack the spider that is threatening Ariadne. But to no avail. The spider that is threatening Ariadne will attempt to do more than just threaten her, but she's cowering and just out of its reach. It's spitting. There's poisonous venom dripping from its maw, from its mandibles, and the other one attacking Marius will likewise attempt to do some serious damage to him, but it does not. Ariadne, having prepared Volcano Spray, will now attempt to cast it. Her psychic ability of an 8, reduced to a 7 for having 1 spell prepared, means I now need to roll a 6 because I'm taking away the 1 for Volcano Spray, or less on 2 dice. She does so, and Volcano Spray will do 1d6 to the spider over her. Yep, that's fine-ish. And the same to the spider over Marius. Oh, that is gone. That is burnt up. The spell is now no longer prepared, and her psychic ability goes back to an 8. Now, this is all simultaneous, so Marius would fight his own spider. But I can generally say that Brother Janus reckoned Marius had that in hand, and wait, didn't he? Yeah, and he'll try and hit this one. There we go, 2d6, which he doesn't, I'm afraid. So we're going to another round. But it's okay, nobody died yet, and Remy's going to attempt to save the day. With his cocky hat and jaunty attitude, he attempts to smack that spider. No. The spider's going to try and hurt Ariadne because she's there. Oof. Marius will move to engage the spider, and Brother Janus will try and harm it. Oh well. That didn't turn out too well. Remy will attack the spider. There's going to be a lot of this. The spider will attack Ariadne, and she will prepare white fire, dropping her psychic ability down to a 7. Whereas Marius and Brother Janus will attempt to harm the spider. Marius hits the spider. Well, that's good. For 5 points, taking it out of action completely. The battle is over. Our heroes have all survived. Whew. That was quite nasty. We have slain the spiders, investigating the cavern mouth. I know what you're thinking. I'm thinking it too. You glance around. Far across the cavern you can see the end of a tunnel that leads further into the battle pits. A faint winking light can be seen at the end of it. The shore of the lake is covered with several large mounds made of piled stones. These look suspiciously like graves to you. You can also see in your torchlight a large block of opaque murky ice, and beyond that there is a dull glow of red ritual candles that cast a dull glow. As 2 dull glows on the bronze shrine that has been set up against one of the cavern walls. Fiercely burning braziers stand to either side of the shrine. You now have a number of options. You may explore one of the mounds by clearing away some of the rocks if you are a party of adventurers, you may approach the shrine, you may investigate the ice block, you may leave the tunnel. Or, much more importantly, Brother Janus would like to sacrifice a point of endurance to attempt some healing. He gets 4 points back. He is the only hero who is wounded. So that puts him on 6 health. He'd like to sacrifice 1 point again. Gets 3 points back, so that takes him up to 8 health. Because he doesn't want to die. And we'll sacrifice 1 more point. We get that back, sacrifice 1 more. We lose it, 1 more. We lose it, so we're down 2 now. I'm actually going to mark that. Yes, back in the day, the Sage's job largely consisted of rubbing out his current health total, changing it, and rolling dice. So we're going to sacrifice 1 more. 1 more. Okay, so we've sacrificed 2, regained 3. Takes us back up to 7. We do want to try and regain those last 3 points. So we're going to sacrifice 1 more. Basically, if I can get up to a 9, I'll be happy. Drops down to a 6, plus 3 is 9. I'd like to get back to a 10, but yeah, you know what, I'll sacrifice 1 more. Okay, down to 1 more. 1 more. That puts us back up on 9. 1 more. There we go. He's back on full health now. At last. And with that, I think I'm actually going to end the episode. We're in a nice situation. We've had a fight with some spiders. I don't think the stony mounds are likely to contain a weapon, but there might be something useful there that we need. There's the shrine, there's the icy block, and even the tunnel. I think I want to investigate one of these 3 options before leaving the chamber, but hey, if you're enjoying this series so far, why don't you let me know your thoughts on the matter? I mean, crikey, we've had a rather unfortunate time of it so far, but we're not doing too badly. So we are on section 8. I'll make a note of that for next time. Speaking of which, while I hope you've all enjoyed this episode, I will look forward to seeing you all in the next one. I'm going to say bye-bye for now, and cheerio!